Patriots Pregame Show is the world's largest virtual tailgate, featuring fans of the six-time Super Bowl champion New England Patriots.
Fires down the middle for Gordon, reaches up, extends, lands in the end zone, between two defenders, touchdown, Patriots!
Hardy, Mike Dussault, Paul Perillo, and Tamara Brown are here to do the grilling as your hosts. This week, the Patriots are home against the New York Jets.
James White cuts it under the right arm, cuts it upfield, driving forward, diving to the goal line! A touchdown! And a title for the Patriots!
I can't believe it!
Hardy, Mike Dussault, Paul Perillo, and Tamara Brown are here to get you ready for the game.
It's football time, fellas. Let's get into it.
Now, live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, Patriots Nation, welcome to the Patriots Pregame Show presented by Dunkin.
Are we off? Are we off and running? Are we doing it? Let's do it. Patriots Pregame Show fueled by Dunkin. Hello, it's Hardy, and it's...
Who is? He's back.
Okay.
Who?
All right.
Do I know you?
All
Tamara?
right.
Mike?
New phone, who dis?
Who dis?
Oh, I like that. I like that. Yeah, back from
Hi,
my...
Hardy.
Back from my sabbatical. Yeah,
Hey,
hi.
great to have you back.
What's going on, everybody?
Football,
Just wins.
So good that... all this team
just some
does is win. That's all they do is win. Patriots Jets today at Gillette Stadium. A very chilly, brisk, blustery November day here in Foxborough, which I'm sure is going to affect these two high-flying offenses. So I don't know. Yeah, pound the under maybe if you're of that mindset. But we're gonna break down all things Patriots Jets here with you today. Going to go behind enemy lines with. Jets Confidential, Dan Leberfeld here in a few minutes. We'll do our over-unders and the six-pack and all that stuff. But everybody good? Haven't seen you in a while. Everybody doing okay?
Yeah, we're coming off the bye, you know.
Yeah.
A little rested up, but I think we're all ready for a big game today. I mean, this is a huge game for the Patriots, and, you know, I think this is going to, I don't want to say define the rest of their season, but I think it's going to tell you what direction it's headed. And we know the game coming up already on Thursday and another one on the heels of that with Buffalo, so it's going to be an interesting
Hold
couple
on,
of days.
what are you talking about? That Thursday's
Oh, sorry. No, I don't want to get ahead. We're only looking at the Jets, right?
No, but Thursday's Thanksgiving.
No, we're going to work on Thanksgiving.
No,
Yeah.
there's no.
Yeah, we're going to need you to come in on Thanksgiving.
That's a holiday. Is it? It's an early game. I hope we can go home and have dinner.
No, late.
You have dinner
It's
first.
past my
End of the
bedtime.
day.
You have dinner
Oh.
first, then you come here.
Oh God.
Then you go back.
Well, I didn't know about
And then
that.
some of us have to tape a TV show the next morning.
Very
So
next morning.
Consider yourself somewhat fortunate.
I will not complain. Instead, what we will do is get the keys to the game. Let's go.
Why did you leave the keys up on the table? You wanted to.
You've waited all week for it.
The whole team's in the locker room right now just listening to this, waiting to hear what you're going to say.
Without these keys, the Patriots are destined and doomed to fail.
Here are Hardy, Paul, Mike, and Tamara's keys to the game.
Why did I steal your key to the game also?
You have the key. You have the right one.
Keys to the game. Without these keys, the Patriots are destined and doomed to fail. They are listening in the locker room right now. We are going to switch things up entirely. We've never done it this way before. Paul Perillo has the first key today.
I do, and it's going to be the same key that I have pretty much the last month, and that's just to find a way offensively to hold on to the football. Protect the ball. Do not turn it over. Do not put the Jets' offense on short fields and give them free points, and you should be able to find a way to maintain the lead, and I think that's the key for the Patriots right now is you get the lead, make the other team chase you, and I think in order to do that, just protect the football and play turnover-free, dare I say, for the first time all season.
Okay.
They have not been able to do it, and that's why I keep hammering the same key from a week-to-week basis.
It's such a simple, rudimentary, fundamental thing that the Patriots teams, over the years, traditionally, historically, have been good at. But as we all know, this is a different Patriots team, and there's a lot of different stuff here. And the turnovers are just, and whether you're talking about short fields or whether you're just talking about, I'm not saying you're screwing up, awesome drives that are going to ultimately result in points, but just giving the ball back over to the opponent when you could either be adding to a lead or getting back into a game. Those turnovers are just killers every time.
Especially today. I mean, it's not to oversimplify it, but you wonder if it's just going to come down to Mac Jones and Zach Wilson and who makes more mistakes, who has the turnover. That's
I think that's
very
what
well
this
could
game
be
will
what it
come
is.
down to.
Yep.
That's very
Absolutely.
good. It's a very good key, Paul.
Thanks.
I'd like
Thanks,
your
Hardy.
key.
It's nice to have you back.
Let's see how
You're looking
Tamara.
good too. Did you lose weight? You look good.
No, thank you.
Okay.
He looks skinnier. He looks
good.
A little stronger.
You look good.
Little, added some muscle mass maybe.
Okay, yeah, that's it. Yeah, work it out.
Do you have some work done during the hiatus?
I did. And living in the gym, it's boring, but it's my life.
He's got his lips plumped up a little bit.
fantastic.
Yeah. Let's see how Tamara's key does this week because, I mean, I don't know if it was the last time I was here. You had a couple of real smelly keys, and they were not good. So I'm hoping you have a better one today, Tamara.
He just comes in after being gone for 3 weeks.
I
and
know, like he owns the place.
I want you to have
Throwing
a good
elbows
key.
throwing
around.
elbows. You are throwing elbows.
I want you to have a good key.
I haven't even had my coffee yet.
What's that in front of you?
I know, but
She's
like
trying to
I
mainline
haven't
it right
finished
now.
it.
I'm gonna make
Taking like a sip.
Get that caffeine.
Yes. It's never too early for that sound.
All right.
My keys don't let up. I think that the second half of the season, the defense more specifically has been known to filter off. And obviously this is not a game where you can do that, especially when the Jets defense is going to be so stout and so aggressive and wants to not let you score any points. I think that the defense has to continue building on what it's been doing the last couple of weeks, especially the last game, 9 sacks. Not saying they're going to have 9 sacks again today versus Zach Wilson, but I think the defense has looked so good and kind of been the foundation of this team the first half of the season. I don't want to see them start the second half of the season today being a little bit lethargic.
I like that, and I like it because even though they've struggled, as all facets of the game have, you go back to a couple of their most impressive wins. I mean, let's face it. You know, you can say whatever you want about the Lions, but, you know, that team was scoring more points than anyone in football, and they came in. You were able to shut them out, and offensively, while the final score looked impressive, that game was all about the defense. It was all about the defense.
Absolutely.
And, you know, if you're going to pick one unit that has been responsible for wins this year, it's the defense. Other times I think, you know, maybe in the case of this team that's in here today, who's responsible for that win in game 1 versus the Jets? Well, the Jets. I think you would say
Zach
the Jets offense, you know, if you're going to pick one unit on the field. But the Patriots defense has been responsible for a couple of wins. Yeah. So when you put don't let up in the category of Patriots defense, I like it. It's a good key.
You're back. You're back
bounce
to me.
back.
Yeah, phew. I
Job,
was
TB.
worried there for a second.
Woo!
She's not.
I was worried too.
Just try not to
I
lose.
just worried there was going to be some
Yeah,
static in the
it's a
studio
real
the
bad.
rest of the show. I didn't want that. You know when you get uncomfortable when your
Tension.
parents
You
fight?
could cut it with a knife.
I don't want any
Yeah.
part of that.
We'll send somebody to their room.
Well, Deuce and I have very similar mindsets when it comes to these keys. They should be pithy. They should oftentimes rhyme. You beat me to it by about 10 seconds. Your key is?
Attack Zach. Yeah, I know. I blame / credit you with that. I mean, I think, you know, you want to have something catchy, but I feel like all our keys kind of paint the similar picture. We're all in different areas. Totally right. I mean, mine's in the area of Tamara's, and just, you know, I don't think you can wait for Zach Wilson to make those mistakes. You know, you have to get after him. You have to force him to be uncomfortable, and I don't think it's easy because he can move pretty good. And, you know, I think those interceptions that you saw last time around were, you know, just stupid mistakes by him. I don't know if they were necessarily like plays that the Patriots defense made happen. They certainly got pressure throughout the game, but I just think they need to win this game. However you want to divide it up, whether it's Zach Wilson versus Mac Jones or the two defenses, I just think the Patriots defense has to produce more than the Jets defense does, you know, on their side of the ball. So get after Zach Wilson, make him uncomfortable, make him see ghosts, as we like to say, and maybe give us a couple turnovers. I think you have to.
You have to wonder what the Jets are going to do today with Zach Wilson and what version of him they are going to put out there and want to play. Because earlier on in the season, when the Jets had a more effective running game, he wasn't throwing the ball that much.
Right.
When you put him in a position, you make him uncomfortable, and you give him to make mistakes, you can beat this team. Do the Jets do that today by plan, or do they do it due to elements and, you know, what's on the line for them at this stage in the season? I don't know, but if there's a way to make him uncomfortable and force him into mistakes, I think you're right. It's a great key.
I think just one more little thing to add to it is I think the weather's something to talk about today with both quarterbacks, because I don't think either one of the quarterbacks, you know, came from these kind of environments. We certainly know Mac, you know, wasn't super comfortable in the cold last year, so it's a little cold, little windy out there. So I think that could affect not only the quarterback play but also, you know, the kicking game, which I think will be big today.
And I think the theme this week throughout all the press conferences, everyone's been saying the Jets were a whole different team the next game when they played the Bills. Like, what they did against the Patriots, they did not do against the Bills. So I think that's a good point, Hardy. It's like, what are they going to come out here and do today? Is it going to be Zach Wilson throwing more, or are they going to try to lean more on their running game before? Because honestly, that game was right after they lost Hall. So they didn't really have time to really work on their running game.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I assume that's probably been their focus over their bye as well.
If you had one quarterback that you liked better, Paul, to be able to kind of like
gosh.
Don't make
no,
me,
no,
don't make me do the
Walk the
Sophie's
plank.
choice here.
Walk the plank, Perillo.
no. I'm not saying pick
Say
one.
it. Say it.
That was fun. It was fun listening to you guys talk about this week, and I think it was
Yeah.
a fun conversation.
The pause from
The
Fred
pause.
Kirsch,
The-
of all people.
drive a bus through that pause. The question specifically for today, in the wind, in the elements, whose arm would you like better throwing in these conditions?
Zach Wilson's.
Right?
Yeah. Now, I don't have any faith in Zach Wilson's arm in any conditions. But in terms of being able to throw the ball through a biting wind, yeah, Zach Wilson. But if either one of these teams wants to come into this game and say we're going to air it out and throw it 45 times by design because that's what we want to do, that'd be a mistake.
And I think, like, he has the arm, but he doesn't have it's weird to say the smarts, but he's lacking the ability to make those good decisions. Like, he has the arm, but it's like those 2 interceptions to Devin McCourty in the first game, it's like those could have been avoided.
Okay, Tamara, the guy from the Jets just walked into the studio. Let's not speak too ill
didn't hear it.
of anyone
He
from
didn't
the
hear it.
Jets.
His headphones weren't on yet.
Oh, okay.
Something tells me Dan probably thinks a lot less of Zach Wilson than we do.
We'll get to my key here in a few minutes, but I don't want to keep our guest waiting. Let's go behind enemy lines.
You know the view from New England,
We go behind enemy lines.
but what about the view from the other side?
And that's why you're our favorite pregame show guest every year.
You guys know you tell everybody that.
Oh, yeah?
I was on with you guys in 2018 Thursday Night Football.
Yep.
And I was told I was the favorite guest of the show.
Nope.
No.
Time now to go behind enemy lines.
My God, it's coming right for us!
Dan Leberfeld is the publisher of Jets Confidential magazine. He's also on Sirius XM NFL Radio, and he joins us here in studio today. Dan Hardy, Mike Dussault, Tamara Brown, Paul Perillo. Great to have you here.
It's great to be with you guys. And Tamara was onto something there.
Yeah. I told you.
I'm 2 for 2 today.
Yeah.
See, Dan's been on with us a lot. You have a chance to move up the rankings. I obviously, number one is out of the question. No one will ever knock John McClain off of the number 1 spot. But you've been on with us enough, Dan. You could make a run for the top 5 if you play
Well, I
your cards
appreciate
right.
that. I hope I can get into the sound lead-in, with
Yeah.
like, was
Just-
that John on there?
Yeah.
John he told us that we tell everybody that, and then some guy incorrectly claimed that we told him that he was no, that never happened.
No, that never
False.
happened.
That never happened.
No one's ever taken the mantle away from John McClain. But Dan, I'm moving up in the rankings for sure. What was Tamara onto? What did you?
Well, the quarterback, Zach Wilson, has an excellent arm, rare arm talent. We all know that. It's one of the reasons he was picked 2nd overall. But the rest of the position he needs some work at. He needs to do a better job going through his progressions, looking off defensive backs. All 3 interceptions in that first Patriots-Jets game that New England won were all avoidable. There are plays in football we all know where a DB or a linebacker makes a great play, jumps a route, and you're like, hat tip to that person. The quarterback didn't see it. It happened to the great Tom Brady every once in a while. There was a play in a Jet game where he was intercepted by a young defensive back, and wait a minute, was that with Tampa Bay? Who's the guy that got the autograph?
Yeah, I think it was at Tampa.
Yeah, that was
a Tampa pick.
He intercepted a Tom Brady pass, Brandon Eccles, and he got him to autograph the football after the game. But I was shocked when Eccles picked off Brady, rookie against the veteran. So it happens to the best of them. But those 3 interceptions were all avoidable. 2, we talked about the McCourty picks, as you brought up before. And the other one was bad mechanics because he sailed the ball over the head of the linebacker, and it was picked off by, I believe, Bentley. So all 3 were avoidable. So there's some issues there. He can make all the throws, no doubt about it. But he's got to do a better job on the mental side of the position.
And you say avoidable on some of those picks. I mean, they almost look deliberate. I mean, the throws are so. But he's still got zip on the ball, so I don't know if lazy is the word I would use. I'm like, I don't know what he's seen in some of those situations that compels him to unleash the ball and send it downfield, sometimes directly into the chest of somebody in the secondary. It's mind-boggling for somebody, obviously, as you said, Dan, with that much talent and that much on his pedigree and being such a high draft pick to allow some of those throws to happen.
Well,
it is kind of puzzling.
I think what happens is a lot of times with young quarterbacks, they desperately want their first read to be open. So a lot of times they're going there no matter what.
Okay.
You see that a lot, and I think in some of those situations, like, you know what, that's my first read. I want to go there. I don't want to turn my head and go to read 2, read 3, check down. So you throw it. And I think that's part of the problem there. But those 3 interceptions, now he did play better against Buffalo, but it's almost become a narrative where they're trying to win the game around the quarterback, and I don't know how far you can go doing that. You can manufacture wins, you can dial up layups for the quarterback, but eventually in some games you're going to need the quarterback to put the team on his back and get the job done. So how long can you work around the quarterback position?
Gotcha.
Just want to ask you about the team's mindset coming in this game. I mean, after a couple weeks ago, after the Patriots won, you got the sense we'll see them again from Zach Wilson. They go out, they had a real good game against Buffalo. It seems like the Jets are putting a lot on this game. Do you feel like this is kind of like a game that they're putting a lot into in terms of might be defining their season?
Yeah, no doubt about it. How many people thought they'd be in contention for first place at this stage of the game? With the over-under entering the year out of Vegas, it was 5.5 wins. They've already surpassed it at 6-3. So I'm not saying they're playing with house money, but now in the NFL, you know how hard it is to get to 6-3 and to be in playoff contention. Now they've got to take advantage of it. There's no more, this is a rebuilding year, this is a retooling year. It's good, we overachieved, nice record and all that. No, you got to take advantage of it. And I think they outplayed New England in the first game. I believe 2 of the picks led to field goals where the Patriots didn't get a first down on those drives.
Correct. Yep.
And the final score, there was a 5-point differential. So I didn't major in math at UMass, by the way. I went to UMass Amherst. Didn't major in math there, but I know when you give up 6 points off turnovers and it's a 5-point win, that's a problem. So they outplayed them. Their defensive line was dominant that day. I think a big matchup factor in this game is getting David Andrews back for the Patriots because in that game, and he tries hard. James Ferentz is an overachiever, but he's a little undersized, and sometimes he has issues with big athletic defensive tackles. They had the advantage over him in that game. And also, Cole Strange has had a pretty good – that wasn't one of his best games. I believe he was pulled late in the game.
Correct. Yep.
So they really dominated on the interior. However, David Andrews is back. Sheldon Rankins, who's a really good rotational defensive tackle for them, the former Saint first-round pick, he's out. So you push Andrews in there, you take Rankins out. That kind of changes what's going to go on in the interior.
Those I'm sorry, but those interceptions you referred to, I have trademarked the phrase "pick 3." So that is when generally
good Hardy.
Oh no, I've kind of given it over to the show. But when you turn the ball over so deep in your own territory, the other team is guaranteed to get 3 points out of it. Especially when you're playing a team that has trouble moving the ball and
especially when you have
converting
Nick
in
Folk.
the red zone.
Yeah.
And when you have you're guaranteed 3 points.
Who
so
saw that one coming?
Sorry, Tamara, go ahead.
Do you see the Jets kind of using some of that game plan that they used to beat Buffalo in today's game versus the Patriots? Was there something about that game that they can also use in this game that can help them have an advantage?
Yeah, that's a great question and a great point. And it's about almost all of the key passes for Zach Wilson were on first reads. Mike LaFleur had one of his best games as the Jets offensive coordinator calling plays. And if you look back at the plays, so many of the big plays were first read, open. Watching college football yesterday, I was staying in the Providence area, and I don't watch a lot of college football. I'm not a big fan. There's too many everything is coming from the sideline and the first read, and it reminded me of that game because Mike LaFleur did such a good job, and so many of the first reads were open. The running game was good with Michael Carter and James Robinson, who they acquired from Jacksonville. So if they can run the ball and create layup throws like they did in that game, that would be the ideal plan for the Jets today.
Do you think, we talked a lot about Wilson, the player. I want to ask you about his mentality and if he has shown, in your opinion, the maturity to bounce back. I think there's been some curious comments that came out in the post-game after the game when he threw the picks, and then I thought even this week where he sort of looked like a little confrontational about his reaction to the picks. Has he matured to the level where you think confidently that he can come into Foxborough today and deliver a statement win for the Jets?
I think he's got some work to do on that front. He's only 23, not to make that as an excuse, but some people are more mature at that age than others. And he came out after his junior year. Some of you guys covered Parcells when he was here. Parcells always believed you pick senior quarterbacks. Mac Jones Sr., you look at, obviously there are other examples of people that have succeeded, but Parcells wanted a 3 or 4 year starter who graduated in terms of the maturity level. This guy came out after his junior year playing the likes of Troy and Navy and Texas State. I hope no alumni from those schools. I was trying to pick a school not around here. But, it was a very light level of competition. And defense of BYU is that COVID year, and you had to, piece together a schedule, making last-second calls. But so he came out after his junior year, faced that level of competition. Then he comes to the NFL, and he's facing Bill Belichick's defense and the Buffalo defense, and just much higher level of competition. That quote this week was weird, the one where he said, no one outside this building knows what they're talking about, because it wasn't the question really wasn't about that. It was almost like he wanted to get that out.
Yeah.
And he has said that before. And to me, probably not the best way to approach the New York media or the Boston media to say something like that, because I don't think you need to be in the building to realize that those 3 interceptions in the first New England game were reckless and impacted the outcome of the game. So obviously there are things that go on behind closed doors with the coaches and players that we are not aware of. But, however, what happened in that game is obvious, even to the layman, that, hey, you can't do that. So I don't know what he's talking about when he says about the critics following that game, no one outside this building knows what they're talking about. So, Paul, I think you're onto something there with maybe he needs to mature a little bit.
That win over Buffalo that Tamara referenced a few minutes ago, what are the whispers at Jet Whispers and Jets Confidential? Is that being viewed as kind of like a second win for a team that is 6-3 and by the way, undefeated on the road, 4-0 road record for the Jets? Is it seen as a second win for the Jets, or were the whispers more like, well, that was kind of an anomaly? Like this team probably didn't have any business beating Buffalo the way they did, and it's kind of a gift. We'll take it, but it didn't seem real. Which way?
Josh Allen had a couple of those picks that you have to pick threes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, interceptions were like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. There were a couple of throws like, who are you throwing to? That obviously should be something we give the Jets defense credit for, because this Jets defense is so much better than the one you guys remember, the 54-point game. The last time the Jets visited here was at 54-13.
Yeah.
So the Jets defense is so much better now. They revamped the whole secondary. It's well documented how well Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed, the 2 corners, are doing.
Yep.
Jordan Whitehead comes over from Tampa Bay. He's doing a solid job. And Joyner was with them last year, but he was on IR most of the year. So it's basically a whole new secondary, and they're playing so much better. The pass rush is improved. I don't know if you guys saw the Jermaine Johnson sack of Josh Allen last week, but one of the reasons they picked Jermaine Johnson was to set the edge better with more speed, and he tracked down Josh Allen scrambling to the sideline, showing the 4.5 speed that Jermaine Johnson has. So a lot more talent on defense. So it's going to be a bigger challenge for New England in terms of the team they faced when they scored 54 points here last year, and this team, because everything is better on all 3 levels with this defense.
I just want to ask you quick about what's the state of the offensive line right now? What do you expect for them going up against this Patriots defensive front that's been pretty disruptive this year?
Yeah, Joe Douglas has done an unbelievable job bringing in reinforcements with all the injuries. They've had multiple right tackles. Max Mitchell, the rookie right tackle out of Louisiana, they were starting at the beginning of the year. He's ready to come off IR, but I don't think he's going to start today. They got Cedric Agbuhi off the Houston Texans practice squad, former first-round pick of the Bengals. He's starting at right tackle. The right guard is injured. Nate Herbig was out most of practice this week with a shin injury. Saw him Friday at practice kind of hobbling on it. So that could be somebody to keep an eye on. He's going to play, but he's not healthy. The center is good. The left guard is good. The situation at left tackle, Dwayne Brown, the veteran, he used to play with Houston and Seattle, playing with his left shoulder strapped in. I mean, he is a warrior. He's playing. Other guys would pack it in. So it's a pretty good line still. They did a good job against Buffalo last week, but it's far removed from the line they entered the season with.
I'm hearing a lot of close game today, tight game today, one that's going to be, back and forth and just a good football game. What is your prediction for the game? You have to give one, Dan. We always ask for, and that includes a score prediction.
Well,
you have to, we want a prediction.
Well, I got to stick with what I said on Sirius XM yesterday. We had a really interesting show because Vic Carucci, my co-host, is in Buffalo. We were getting all the Buffalo updates.
Oh, wow.
The Bills, our players are getting escorted to the stadium.
Have they left yet?
Yeah.
They're okay.
They got there.
Okay, that seems like maybe they could have left Thursday, but whatever. No big
Isn't
deal.
Thursday the day that they got the 66 inches of snow?
What's that?
Isn't Thursday the day the snow came?
It's interesting. This is.
I thought it was.
Yeah, so they got the airport was closed, but there was one flight that left. The Delta, the Delta air flight the charter that they had. But that was the only flight that left out of Buffalo. It was interesting radio going through all that as the story updated. But on the show, I predicted the Patriots would win. We don't do scores on that show. Now, Jet fans think I might be hating on the Jets. It comes back to the quarterback position. Yep. And they have a backup named Mike White who's very underrated. If you remember last year in this game, he came in, and his first pass of the game, he threw to Corey Davis, a beautiful pass. Patriots had tight coverage left side of the end zone for a touchdown. This guy's pretty good. They do have another option. I'm not saying that to bench Zach Wilson, but the way he's playing and the way he's acting on the road against Bill Belichick with 2 weeks to come up with a game plan. And he threw 3 picks against a 1 week game plan. So 2 weeks to prepare. The Jets have more talent. The Jets have the better roster, but I just can't trust the quarterback enough this week to pick him against Bill Belichick with 2 weeks to prepare. I do think it's going to be very close. The weather's much worse than people would realize when you see 40 degrees. It feels like it's in the 20s, and it's windy. How will he react to that?
Yep.
So I think it's going to be very close, and I think the Patriots will pull it out. Home team, 2 weeks to prepare.
Okay. All right.
Sounds good.
Dan Leberfeld at Jets Whispers, like a whisper jet.
Yeah.
That's an old school term. What is a whisper jet?
I don't know. You have the old school term. Why don't you tell us?
I don't know. Well, you ever heard of a whisper jet? Wasn't it kind of like a kind of a airliner?
I think so, yeah.
Nobody cares. All right. Jets Confidential Magazine, Dan. Good to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Always great to be on with you guys.
Thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Have a donut.
Have a donut.
Yeah, take a donut with you.
It's funny. A long time ago when Parcells was the coach, they had a commercial running in the stadium where Parcells was with that old guy. The old guy used to time to make the donuts. I'm really dating myself with that one, but the guy was there with Parcells. I'm like, whoa, it's an interesting tandem.
You remember that?
Of course.
Time to
what
make
was
the
his name, though, with the mustache? And I mean, it's famous.
Oh, did he have a name?
Time to make the donuts.
Well, the man had a name, Paul,
Well, I mean,
just because we don't remember.
I mean, the donut
it.
guy. Like, was he known? Like,
did the
did
character have a name?
Yeah.
The time to make the donuts guy.
Yeah.
That's what
I think it was Trevor.
Michael Vale.
Yeah, that's not the
But the character's name was
Marine Corps.
Trevor. I believe that was what he was referred to.
Fred the Baker. There we go.
Yeah, in ad circles. All right. Well, enjoy the game today, Dan. Thanks again for
it should be a fun one.
I appreciate it. We're going to keep rolling here. I think, Paul, when do you have to do your hit?
I have a while.
Do you want to grab some calls? Or do you want my key to the game first?
Oh, yeah. Let's get
why
your
don't
key,
you
Hardy.
give us the keys
It's
to the
not
game.
complete without your key.
The keys are,
Okay. All right.
wide
Now-
open. The door's locked without your key.
Now, again,
Thanks, Dan.
once again, Dan Leberfeld there from Jets Confidential Magazine. My key for the game, again, trying to be pithy and rhymey, ended up being both prophetic and I think kind of dumb. Okay?
As you're wont.
So my key is forget the punter, target hunter. Now, this was before I knew Jake Bailey was going to go on IR, but I thought, you know what? He's having struggles. Don't even worry about the punter. How about use one of your tight ends to convert on some of these third downs, and that way you won't have to punt the ball hardly at all today. Why don't you just move the ball downfield, run it as much as you have to, but it's been my mantra for a lot of the season. They've come around a little bit in starting to incorporate tight end play, but let's get these guys involved, and that way you can forget about your punter, target hunter. Huh? Clever. Two things. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I think it's a point that keeps coming up. I don't think anyone expected Hunter Henry's production to fall off a cliff after last year. I thought, he was one of the bright spots, and it felt like one of the pieces that you absolutely needed for them to be, a solid offense this year with those touchdowns that he's able to bring in the red zone. So I like it. I hope they can find a way to start delivering more. Talked to Arcane yesterday with this came up, and I just was mentioning when we watch training camp, they're in the red zone all the time, and I think it's somewhat a sign of not trusting it yet, not seeing it. It doesn't feel like Mac's throwing with anticipation yet. All the windows are tight down there in the red zone. So
you went on the radio with Arcan yesterday.
I did.
You're going to miss him. You're going to miss him so much today that he had to get a little chin wag in with him yesterday.
It's pretty obvious. I turned it down.
Get his deuce
out of loyalty to you.
I appreciate that.
Here's Deuce's number. The B team.
It's funny because Arcan asked me for Deuce's number. He didn't ask me for your number. So when did he turn you down?
I'm on the Sports Hub, so I probably shouldn't be crossing extremes.
Budding rivalries.
I understand.
I only cross streams for Randy Hart.
Excuse me?
It's old Boo.
You two are very close.
We are exceptionally close. We have shared a dessert together on the road.
But never a urinal. I mean,
never a urinal.
Crossing streams to that extent.
A trough, perhaps.
Yeah.
Like a Fenway Park trough, maybe. But
anyway, something named Michael Pilardi is going to be your punter today for the Patriots. I don't know from Michael Pilardi.
Yeah, he's been around a lot. He was the Dolphins punter last year. I mean, he's been around though. I think he's played with like 8 different teams.
Do I know from Michael Pilardi? I've seen him obviously.
He's an NFL punter. Do you know? I mean, I don't know from punters in general, but he's been around and left-footed punter.
Yeah, done a little.
And he was on
he was on Carolina too,
right?
On
Carolina. I mean, a lot of practice squads he's been around. I think he had 2 stints with Carolina actually, but. He has done some kickoffs, so we'll see who's going to do the kickoffs. If they're going to make your boy Nick Folk have to do that or leave him alone because he's been so consistent and just focusing on field goals. But
so the punter thing took on a whole new.
Well, the timeline of it all is just interesting, and I mean and everybody's kind of on Jake Bailey right now, having a kind of a second down year. I think. Last year, you chalked some of it up to injury and said, he wasn't well. They extended him, gave him, some big money this offseason. It hasn't gone well. The team has kind of, in press conferences and interviews and stuff has acknowledged that, it hasn't been good enough on the punt team. And then, all of a sudden he shows up this week. I don't know if it was Thursday or Friday. Was it the first day, Wednesday, Paul? I forget which day he showed up with the back injury this week. Was ruled doubtful on Friday.
Wednesday.
Yeah,
it was limited Wednesday and Thursday, DNP on Friday, and then was ruled doubtful in the status.
And then the next
day they put him on IR. I just think that he's struggling. I think Mike is right. The fact that Bill was openly acknowledging the struggles, I think, during Friday's press conference was kind of giving us a little bit of the writing on the wall. I don't know if this is injury-related, and to be completely honest with my thought, that's based on absolutely nothing but strict opinion. I don't think it's overly injury-related. I think the kicking game can be very much like golf. I think it's a very mental exercise. I think you can get the yips, and I think when you lose that slot, whatever it is, it can be difficult to get it back. And I think that they've looked at that and said, right now, Jake Bailey's off.
Yeah.
And we need, the 7-yard punt.
It's
funny. He had a 7-yard punt to close out that game. We missed it, Mike, because we were walking down to start the post-game show because Hardy wasn't here, so we didn't know what was going on.
Right.
We had no direction.
2 ships wandering in the night.
I appreciate that, but it's also it's interesting to hear you say that the punting game is as mental. I think of the kicking game, and I think of field goal kickers as
same
being,
thing. As
just
kind of
mental,
like that,
but
swing.
You're right. With punting, there's a little more, I think, physicality to the actual action. So you might be, but you see shanked punts all the time where it's not due to pressure, it's not due to timing, it's a mental thing. It's like you just didn't execute it that one time. If you don't execute on a perfect pass, well, it might end up in the dirt. It might end up with a punt. It's just so much more of a visual representation of things gone wrong, and it looks terrible.
Yeah.
And you add
especially
back
when it goes 7 yards. There's no way to hide that.
And as Fred Kirsch rightly pointed out, when it comes to a back injury, second only to the leg, the back can really affect the punter. That was one of my favorite comments from the Unfiltered this week.
There you go.
Freddie's special. We all know that.
Because the back, it's not important to other positions, but to a punter, that back.
Guy's getting tackled. Ooh. back injury. I'll hurt.
All right. Anyway, and the other thing that makes that key dumb now, I think, is target hunter, because what, are they going to be throwing the ball a ton today? I don't think either team is going to be throwing the ball a ton today.
No, but I think if you're somebody who is hoping that the Patriots are going to come out of the bye week with something new, or just kind of renewed life, and looks like they've regrouped and maybe gone into what they do best, I think that's an element that might just say, hey, this is something that they did well last year that's been strangely missing this year, and it'd be a couple plays here and there, a couple throws. It's not going to change your whole overall impression of the team, but I think find Hunter Henry in a tight window down in the red zone for a touchdown. It's a feel good play for sure.
All right, let us now grab some calls here at 855-PATS-500, webradio@patriots.com. If you'd like to send us an electronic mail. What?
Anybody?
What? No, I was trying to reach the mouse, and it was a little awkward there for a second. Are you okay?
You need some filler time? I got you.
I just needed 10 seconds. Patty and Agawam, what's going on? Cousin Patty, you're up first on the Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Dunkin. What's up?
Good morning, everyone.
How we doing?
Hey, so want to get into my big key, and I kind of want to touch on something that you guys brought up during the week. But my big key today is David Andrews, and you guys were just talking about going back to what you do good. I think with him being out the last two games, not only did they suffer in the passing game, but to me it looked like Ramondre had to get a lot of yardage on his own. And I think him quarterbacking that line, I think they're going to get right today in the running game. Hopefully get whoever is subbing at right tackle today, whether it's Yadney or Isaiah Wynn, bringing that extra guy when they're going to run, and just impose your will, because I think I'm with you, Hardy. I think the passing yardage is going to be a little bit sparse today too. That's my big key, is getting Andrews back and getting right on the offensive line. And just to touch on what you guys said, you guys brought up blame pie for Mac this past week.
Yeah.
And as much as I hate to say it, I got to give him most of the blame pie, because what did we say before the season started, which is you're only going to go as far as your quarterback takes you. And I understand new system, offensive line hasn't been great, but to me, ultimately, the really good ones can overcome stuff like that and find ways to win games and find ways to move the ball down the field. And he hasn't done it. And as much as I'm Team McLennan, he gets most of the blame pie. That's all I got, guys. Let's go. Pats win today.
Appreciate it, Pat. Thanks, buddy.
Lots of good stuff there. I think that there is something there with the point of, really good quarterbacks find ways to overcome things. And, Joe Burrow, we know about his protection issues, but I still can't give Mac the majority of the blame pie, just because it hasn't looked good ever. And, at some point, if it had looked pretty good and then things had fallen off, I would say, well, the plays are there, but I don't know. He's got a chunk of it for me, but he's not the most of it.
No, I would agree. I think there's a lot of factors at play. I don't know which one is the biggest factor, but I go all the way back to the spring and the decision to have defensive and special teams coaches run your offense. I thought it was ill-fated from the start, and it's played out that way.
All right, we're going to go to Floyd in Michigan now here on the Patriots Pregame Show. Floyd, what's going on?
Good morning, everybody, and a special shout-out to Mr. Michael Dussault.
Oh, thank you, Floyd.
Our radio relationship has began rocky, but it has improved greatly, sir.
Oh,
appreciate it.
Oh, Mr. Floyd has beef with you, Mike?
What was rocky? What happened?
I don't know.
Are we going to do this?
Yes.
I love Mr. Floyd.
It began when Miss Megan was there.
Oh.
And remember when Bill drafted that kicker, and I was on.
Oh, yeah.
All
right. Yeah.
Kicker, and Mike did not like it. He could pick him up with his feather.
Was it Rohrwasser? Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah, that guy.
You were
Mike
right.
Said,
you were right, Floyd.
He's a kicker. He said he's a kicker. Come on.
All right.
But we've made up.
All right. So what do you have on today's game, Floyd?
Well, my question was more about, did you see the article, the Mike Breer, the Albert Breer article that I saw on Boston.com? Did any of you see it this week?
I know you probably wrote 9.
Yeah,
but
refresh my memory.
Well, he said that he feels like there's some doubts about Jones around the league.
I did see that.
That was kind of the title.
I did see that, yeah.
The gist of it was that he texted a half dozen NFL executives.
Yes.
A small sample size, mind you.
Correct.
But he asked them if there was a redraft of the 21 draft, who would be the second pick taken? 4 people said Justin Fields. One person said, I would stick with Trey Lance, who was the guy I wanted. And then the other one was Zach Wilson. And they said nobody said Mac Jones, but it also doesn't look like he trusts the offense.
Right.
I just wanted to know what were some of your thoughts on this article? I thought it was interesting.
All right,
Yeah,
Floyd.
I do agree with Floyd that it is a small sample size. It's, and Bert, to his credit, he told you. Like, it's not like I talked to everybody around the league. He pulled 6, I think, GMs that he had mentioned. Last year everybody was all over Mac Jones was the best quarterback in that class. And this is why, and I say this all the time, people get really upset when you declare a guy a bust immediately because that's not enough time. But when a guy has success immediately, it's fine to declare it a great pick because evidently nothing can happen to prove otherwise. I think we're guilty of that all the time around here with draft picks. Last year Christian Barmore was the next Warren Sapp. This year he can't get on the field. I don't know what Christian Barmore is. And Mike will tell you, I love Christian Barmore. Doesn't mean I'm right. He hasn't really done much. Mac Jones, to me, has taken a step back. Whether you think it's because of the offense, because of the weapons, because of the pass protection, because of the play calls, the play designs, whatever the reason, he's not been as good this year as he was last year. And this goes back to the last half of last year. So if there are some GMs out there that are looking at it and saying the potential of Trey Lance, he hasn't really played yet, maybe intrigues them, or the athleticism of Justin Fields, I'd have a hard time arguing with that.
Yeah.
The Justin Fields part.
If you had asked them about that, though, like 5 weeks ago before the Patriots game, there probably wouldn't have been anybody picking Justin Fields second.
Of course. I would have because, as you know.
You've always liked him. Yep.
Yeah, I always liked him, and I thought he had the size to do the kinds of things that he's doing. He still has a long way to go as a passer.
Yeah, and it's hard for Mac, too, because it's the recency thing. I mean, we watched all through training camp. We watched all the OTAs. What's more likely? I mean, Paul talks about this a little bit, that, a guy got off to a hot start as a rookie when he went into a favorable situation. League didn't really have him figured out yet. I don't know. I'm waiting for Mac to put together a consistent game. I haven't seen a consistent practice, a consistent game in a long time where he's making those plays that you need to make to win games. And I understand why people are down on him. Like, at some point, it's got to turn around. It can't just continue to be like this. So he needs to go out there and have, a turnover-free game where he helps the team win. And, I thought what stood out to me was what Dan said about the Jets, where it was also what I think I said in the postgame show after that game, was like, it feels like they have to win in spite of their quarterback. The Jets are feeling like that. The Patriots can't feel like that, too. They need to find Mac a way to get on track. And, I think that's what the hope is here with the bye week, that you're going to come out. I mean, maybe we're hoping against hope. We watched them all summer. It looked like this. It's looked like this going into the season. But we've had 2 weeks, a couple extra practices. Maybe they figured some stuff out.
Yeah, we talked to Bert about it when he was on the Sports Hub with us earlier this week. And, yes, he admitted to it, being a small sample size. But it's also a small sample size for the quarterbacks, especially for Justin Fields, who didn't play last year.
Yeah.
So you've got, a bigger body of work.
He played last year.
Well, he played, but he didn't start at the beginning. When did he come away? Halfway through?
He didn't start the first game of the year, but he played a lot last year.
Did he come in that early? I thought he didn't play until like halfway through.
That might be
That
right.
sounds about
But,
right.
I mean, that would give him roughly the same amount of starts.
I mean, until they started running them against the Patriots,
well,
I don't think
you're
anybody
right with the time that Mac Jones has missed. I just think it's interesting that, even of those guys, of that small sample size that Bert talked to, that GMs or anybody would be willing to go with now he is physically gifted, but he's also one of these guys that likes to take matters into his own hands. And the way the league has kind of like ebbs and flows where, these guys look great, whether it's Lamar Jackson or, whether it's Justin Fields, it's like, oh, wow, these guys can take the game into their own hands. Do you really want to rely on that guy to be your starting quarterback year after year after year? Because one would think the potential for injury is going to be so much greater. And we talked about this with Bert, too, like, okay, what about Patrick Mahomes? Well, Patrick Mahomes is out there running around everywhere, but he doesn't get hit Fields isn't afraid of getting hit,
He
and
doesn't.
that makes me afraid.
And and Patrick Mahomes, I always caution, that he's a unicorn. Josh Allen's kind of a unicorn. There's some guys that have, just a different skill set. And I'm not telling you that no one can play like that, but I just don't think that you can watch a guy like Mahomes, who's the best in the business, and just say, well, he could be like that. Well, yeah, sure, he could. I'm not telling you that no one will ever be great.
Yeah.
But the odds are probably not. 10 games he started. He played 12 games as a rookie. He played 12 games, started 10. He started all 10 this year for Justin Fields. So only a handful more for Mac Jones.
All right. Good question, though, Floyd. Thank you very much. 855-PATS-500 if you'd like to join us here on the Patriots Pregame Show, which is fueled by Dunkin. On the subject of Dunkin, it's always game on with Dunkin. That makes grabbing a coffee the most important game day ritual, because the best call for football is Dunkin, the official coffee of the New England Patriots. America runs on Dunkin.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in PC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
$1 million for picking players? That's a lot of money, DraftKings. You know how many jokes I got to tell to make $1 million? Probably like a half of one.
Take a free shot at $1 million with DraftKings, the leader in.
Get in on the action with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New England Patriots. New customers can download the DraftKings app now and play free for millions in prizes using code PATS. That's code PATS, only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots. Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including 6 String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
Cardinals and Raiders on the road. It's Cincinnati, it's Miami, it's Buffalo again.
You did it.
Okay, that's in order. I really need to get a hobby.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Back on the Patriots pregame show, which is fueled by Dunkin'. I want to tell you about NFL All Day. With NFL All Day, all your favorite Patriots highlights become digital video collectibles. Do you know what they're called?
Moments.
Moments. Not only, that's how they say it in Balmer. Moments. Not only can you buy and sell them on a secure marketplace full of thousands of NFL fans, you can use them to compete in epic game day challenges. Check it out and find some moments from all your favorite Pats players on NFLAllDay.com.
Yeah, we got inactives in.
What do you got?
Josh Bledsoe, J.J. Taylor, Sam Roberts, Kevin Harris, and Sean Wade.
You ain't playing,
so nothing too surprising. I mean, all the moves to IR kind of makes everybody have to be active.
I just based on some, and I just tweeted this out. I just based on some of the comments from like Mike Giardi and some of the other writers watching. Devontae Parker didn't look very good, I guess, going through his pregame warm-up, but he's active. So we'll see if he can give them anything.
He's going to give it a go, as they say.
He's up.
He's up.
That's what the kids say. He's up.
Sorry, I'm finishing a donut.
So I didn't get a chance to talk about behind enemy lines because I had to run. But my biggest takeaway from that was when he said this team is trying to win around the quarterback, essentially without Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
And I thought, about what Jacoby said to me in the locker room this week. He said, we need to find a way to stand on our own. We have not been able to do that. And so it's honestly, both of these teams are finding a way to win without the quarterback, which is really interesting.
I thought you were going to say when he said, that's a great question, Tamara.
I was thinking the same thing.
That was great, but it wasn't my biggest takeaway.
What did Slater say to you earlier this week? I heard you mention it on the show on Thursday. You talked with Matthew Slater about something earlier this week. What did he say?
Yeah, he said field position is going to be huge in this game. He said, the way they were able to stop.
I disagree.
The way they were able to stop Braxton Berrios in special teams in the first game, he said to be able to do that again is going to be tough. He said, I expect the Jets to come out here and play us a lot more aggressive, way more tough. And so he said, field position is going to be huge. They didn't give Zach Wilson great field position the first time. So I think that today, with both of these teams trying to find wins without the quarterback in a sense, it's going to be very interesting.
Who'd you talk to this week, Deuce?
Who did we talk to? I don't know if I talked to anybody. I don't talk to anybody.
I don't talk to
I was
people.
there. I listen. I try to listen.
People come talk to you.
Well, they used to, but now I got moved down to the basement, so no
You're
one ever
closer.
Comes, no one sees me anymore.
You're closer. That's why I thought that's why they moved you down there.
I was banished.
I'll just.
But for real,
Correct.
how long can you really win games without your quarterback?
Oh yeah,
both teams
both
trying
teams,
it every week.
Right, both teams are. I'll just say this though, Hardy. I mean, I was there though, and I did hear everybody talking this week, and I think what struck me was that everybody understands A, how bad they've been on offense, and B, what's at stake in this game. And there was just a sense of, and also how bad last year went out of the bye week. Like all these things were kind of brought up and acknowledged, which, I don't know. I find it reassuring that they get what's going on with this team. And I think this is a huge game. And, even Bill, on Friday, sometimes he's a little bit smiley and chatty. He didn't seem that much to me. He seemed more focused on this game. So I think this is a huge game that I've been saying all week. I mean, I feel like this game's going to determine the floor of the season. If they lose this game, you're talking about last place AFC East, a real tough slate coming up. I mean, it's just it could go south. You win this game, it's like a play-in game. Now you got a chance to really do something against these really good teams to prove what you can. But if you don't win this game, I don't know how much of a chance you're really going to give yourself down the stretch.
I do like how they're taking accountability for okay, we got these wins before the bye week. Great. Not coming off 9 sacks on the defense. Great. But we still have a lot of work to do. And they're taking accountability for it. Whereas, Zach Wilson, to Paul's point earlier, he is not taking accountability for, any of his mistakes that he's making. I'm honestly surprised, especially after watching that film from that game, that you're not I was the reason we lost the game. Obviously team sport, but without those 3 interceptions, would have been a way different game.
Yeah, and otherwise he's been good. I mean, he's thrown the interceptions are in the Patriots game, and I think the first game of the year against the Steelers. So, I mean, he has had good ball security, but again, it just goes back to that point of not letting him lose the game for us. And I think both teams need to get to a point where they get away from that.
To be honest, I think the guy that needs to reevaluate what happened is Mike LaFleur. Because you can't allow him to throw the ball 40-plus times. I mean, if you fall behind 21-0 in the third quarter, by all means, the game plan's out the window.
Start chucking.
You got to do different things. They went into that game, and I know that Evan disagreed. They ran the ball 12 times. They had 2 running backs combined for 12 carries in a game that was never out of doubt, right? I mean, it was always in question. They did it by design. They wanted him to throw. He made a couple of plays early in the game, and I think they were kind of feeling it, and they allowed him to wreck the game. And you can't do that with a quarterback that's not ready to play like that on a consistent basis. There's a reason why they're 5-1 with Zach Wilson, and it's all of the 5 wins, I believe, are 25 or fewer pass attempts. There's the one that stands out, 41.
Yep.
Mike LaFleur has to look at that and say, I cost us a chance to win that game because I put the ball in harm's way.
Did he panic because of the change in personnel in the running game, right before that game? And if he did, I at least I can understand it. But what's the safer play? Going with your running game that is unproven and not as effective, or allowing Zach Wilson to chucking the ball all over the field.
The funny thing to me is if they had done that the next week against Buffalo and said, we got to make plays. We got to chuck the ball because we're not going to be able to beat Buffalo 20-17. That would have made perfect sense.
Yeah.
Because Buffalo, you don't expect to beat 20-17. the Patriots, every game the Patriots play is 20-17. So that's the Patriots defense has played very well almost all season with a couple of exceptions here and there. But you got to think, if I can get to 20, I'm going to have a chance to win. They looked like they wanted to get to 30 in that game to win, the Jets. They wanted to throw it all over the yard. And then they go out and do the opposite against Buffalo, and wouldn't you know it, they catch Buffalo on a bad day. Their defense plays well, forces some Josh Allen mistakes, and they win in one of those muck-it-up kind of low-scoring games. That's how the Jets have to play. They're not ready to play 38-35, just like the Patriots aren't ready to play that way.
All right, let's go back to the phones here. We'll go to Todd in Greenville, North Carolina. Todd, thanks for being on the show. What's up?
Hardy, don't leave us. Please be for the rest. The other guy just is dry, forgettable, and I keep waiting for him to say Bueller. It's just horrible.
Arcand, listen to me. I love Arcand, and I don't know if or when he's going to be back, but no.
He's excellent.
Yes, he is.
Did an excellent job. No, I mean, no offense to you, Hardy. I
No.
love you. You know that. You know you're my favorite all-time host.
And I love you, Todd. Thank you for saying that.
But Christian was excellent.
There's nothing wrong with Arcand. He knows his stuff.
So one quick question then. If we run for 100 yards with Ramondre and Mac doesn't have, a brain fart and turn it over, what's our chances of winning? Or do we need more from Mac to be able to win this game?
What's the other team do?
Yeah, 50-50.
The Jets.
Yeah, but what do they do? So what does the other team do?
They play football.
They do Jets.
Does Zach Wilson turn it over?
I don't know. I just want to know what we need to do just to be
Forced
able to
turnovers.
be in the game type thing.
Forced turnovers.
So we're not going to win with our offense and just playing football?
I don't think so. If both teams don't make any mistakes, it's going to come down to a coin flip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, Todd. Appreciate it.
I think forced turnovers, then also, I say this every week, but I don't want to see 5 field goals today. I'm over it.
We're not at the point in the season. I was thinking about this on the way in because we always want a good game. What do you want in order? You want a Patriots win, but you also, right in conjunction with it, you want a good game. You want to be entertained for a few hours. I don't think we are at the point in the season to have the luxury of wanting a good game. You need the win today. The win is everything today to get to 6-4, and then you own the tiebreaker against the Jets, and you're ahead of them in the standings, and everything's good. So I'm with you. I don't necessarily want a big field goal game today either. You can't be picky.
True.
Just like you couldn't circle wins earlier in the
win.
season, you can't say how you want them to win today. That's not where this team is at.
And another thing in terms of that, the field goal stuff, is this does not look like it will be an easy day to kick field goals.
Right.
For most. But Nick Folk, everybody.
Just based on the wind and everything. I mean, neither guy really ever misses. I mean, I think Zerline has 3 misses, Folk has 2. But it's when you miss. And Zerline missed a huge one in the first game. Against the Patriots. He missed one.
So this game might not be aesthetically pleasing today.
No, and there's no moral victories today. Like this, I mean, a loss is a devastating loss.
Oh, yeah, you're getting a signal from Marine Matt. I don't know. 5 minutes, I think.
He's saying hi.
Yeah.
Hi. We're doing a show.
Before I bring up Michelle from South Carolina, I want you guys to know that last week she had a very traumatic week.
Oh, no.
We don't have time to get to the bottom of it today, but at some point we have to. She was lost in the woods for 9 hours.
Oh, God.
It's not funny, but she was laughing.
Why are you laughing then?
Because she was laughing about it when she called into the Sports Hub to tell us about it. So, Michelle, have you recovered? Is everything okay?
Yes. And I had a liquid lunch yesterday after we talked.
Oh.
Okay. All right.
But, yeah, I'm fine. And I have to tell you the story. I kind of told it out of sequence, but, yeah, it was crazy. And I realized I lost my keys when I got back to my car. So it's a longer story. I'll have to tell you on Monday.
Did you actually call the police and they told you to call an Uber instead?
Well, yes, because they said they didn't have enough police in the area. Now, you have to remember, I was 3 hours away from home, and then it was nighttime, and I was in an area that is very secluded.
Yeah.
And when I called Uber, they kept saying that they were coming, but none of them ever came.
Okay.
So that was the problem.
Well,
So
maybe
still-
also you're in the woods and there are a sneaky lack of roads.
Well, I'm just glad you're
Well,
okay,
I wanna-
Michelle.
Yeah.
I'm not making light of it like Hardy.
How dare you, Michelle?
dare you?
What do you have on the game today, Michelle?
Okay. So my one point is they really need to score first to get something out of like their offense and get them going. I just need them to score first. I don't care how they do
That's
it.
the
but-
secret sauce for the Patriots. You get the lead, they're unbeatable, especially at home.
Yeah, well, I don't know if all that is true. Is that really true?
No,
I can give you some numbers.
a lot of
this is Bill Belichick as the Patriots coach. When leading at the end of the first quarter, he's 108-10. When leading at the half, he's 131-5. When leading after 3, he's 136-2. That's Bill Belichick's career at home.
Wow.
They get the lead.
136
You
and
ain't beating
2.
the Patriots, especially in this building.
Good stat. Good stats.
Okay, well, we need to see it. And
I agree. Need the lead,
about
Michelle.
that-
I'm with you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, finally.
All right.
In about Mac, we're all saying that we need to see an improvement. He needs to be part of a win. Well, with 2 weeks off, he comes out, and we still don't see really any improvement. He's still not part of a win, and the defense is still winning. Shoot. What? What? Okay, so now how do we look at that? Because just because he was drafted doesn't mean he's a starter. So at some point, if this kid is not getting it, and it's not really a hard offense to really grasp, when are we going to make a decision on this?
Well, they need to make this. And Michelle, thank you for the call. I'm going to hang up now, just so you know.
No, wait.
Don't hang up on me. She's laughing like she's lost in the woods again.
Does she have a GPS?
They need to.
You broach that. Tell
There's
her.
so many unanswered questions about that Lost in the Woods story, but they need to make decisions on a lot of stuff. One of the things that I think I heard you guys talking about, and we talked about earlier in the week, is the idea of, and Phil Perry talked about it a lot. That's probably who I heard it mostly from. Was the idea of these stretch runs versus gap runs, and like. A, make up your mind, and B, go with the gap runs. Because when you do that, you're pretty much unstoppable. And when you try this other stuff, it's not really working. So you need to make up your mind on a few things offensively if you, A, want to develop some consistency, and B, have Mac at least not be part of the problem. I'm not saying if you go to a gap run scheme, then he is automatically going to factor into the wins, because that doesn't necessarily jibe. Right. But at least you would develop some consistency and allow him, I don't know, force teams into respecting the run a little bit more, so that makes things easier on Mac. I'm just spitballing here, Deuce.
Well, just lean into your strengths, right? I wanted to comment, too. Ian Rappaport just went on the Twitter about 8 minutes ago with a little report. Mac Jones spent his bye week focusing on syncing up his drops with his wide receivers. It was all mental and all about timing. He also mentioned that the ankle finally does feel 100%. So take that for what it's worth. I don't know. Usually I was hoping that the drops would match up with the routes before Week 11, but clearly they've been getting torched on social media by Dan Orlovsky, among others, of not looking like they're synced up enough. So we'll see if it makes a difference today.
Yeah, but I also think, too, it's like you have to be able to be okay if it doesn't go as planned. Like,
Sure.
I think that, you can work on this sync and this timing, but, like, ultimately in the game, it's probably not going to happen the way you think it's going to happen every single time. So being able to make those adjustments when things don't go as planned and when Jacoby Myers isn't open, like,
it's like next level, Tamara. You're like they're on like remedial. You're in like college level courses. I mean, you're 100% right, and I think that's one of the biggest problems over the last 3 years with this team was just that when it doesn't like a good start.
Yeah.
When that doesn't happen, when you get behind the 8 ball, they struggle, and I think that's one of the things about the old Patriots teams that you always expected were that they can come back. I mean, we all know 28-3 and all that. I mean, that was one of many impossible comebacks that, this team made with Brady. But at this point, it feels like a 10-point lead is close to a death sentence. So, especially when you go back to that Jets game last time where, you were staring down the barrel of a pick six that would have made it 17-3. I mean, I think everybody who's watched these Patriot games in recent memory knew exactly what that probably would have meant to that game had that play stood. So I just want to get to the first point, which, like Paul's point, don't turn the ball over, try to play clean. But, like, at some point, they do have to make that step. If they're going to be a legitimate AFC contender that's going to give the good teams problems.
Back to the phones here, 855-PATS-500. Tony in Canada joining us now. Tony, what's going on?
Hi, guys. Good morning.
Hey, Tony.
So, in regards to the game today, I think it's definitely a must-win. The Pats lose this game, I see them finishing fourth in the AFC and out of the playoffs. In fact, that could still be true even if they win today.
Yeah.
But assuming that that's how things work out, we finish that way at the end of the season, do you think Kraft would realistically want to put pressure on Belichick to make some changes? I know before the season started, he had that comment about how not winning a playoff game in the last 3 years is not really acceptable. So I'm wondering what you guys think about that, whether we could expect any changes if we finish out of the playoffs this year.
Yeah. It's hard. And Tony, thanks for the call. Good to hear from you. I think it is almost inconceivable that Bill himself, without pressure from ownership, would finish not making the playoffs this year and say, "Yeah, we're good. I got my guys. I got my guys here. I got Matt and I got Joe and no, I think we're good. We'll figure it out next year." Bill himself, if he needs to be told to change things, from a coaching staff or from whatever person, I don't know. Tony didn't say specifically what changes, but I think coaching staff, first in terms of the things that are easiest to fix.
Yeah.
When you're Bill, and I don't know, maybe you got a couple of guys working here who aren't even being paid to work here. They're being paid by their former teams. Those are easy. Those are easy fixes. If Bill has to be told to do that by ownership, that's another problem.
And I think that's like, you want Belichick to acknowledge how bad they've been, right? Like and then that's what the question gets at, that they would just be this bad and finish the year, whatever it is, 29th in offense and 30th in red zone and be like, we'll figure it out. I think they know exactly like we know how bad it's been, and I'm sure it's unacceptable to them. I mean, I know they're not happy about it. So what change would they make? I mean, I think it's all going to depend on how it goes over these last few weeks. I mean, if they start to show some signs of life, I mean, I think the thing we talked about on Unfiltered was like, it seems like maybe they bring in like a Bill O'Brien to take over the offense. But I think more likely what people are accepting would be maybe you bring somebody in just to focus on the offensive line and let Matt Patricia be the de facto, full-time offensive coordinator rather than having to worry about the whole things. Now nobody's going to love that right now, and who knows how it's going to go over these last 9 games or 8 games with that. But I don't know. It's hard to see them totally blow it up. Like, I still think he likes his guys. He likes his guys in position, but the offense has got to be better for that to even have a chance of happening.
Let's grab another couple of phone calls here. We're going to get to our over-unders here in a little while. We got a full Sunday six-pack today. We got a lot of stuff.
It's exciting.
That's good. The good thing is I don't even know how things went in the over-under last week. I wasn't here. I made my picks. I think I did okay. I'm not sure.
Doesn't say.
We'll find out later. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know. Cousin Chris in North Carolina. What's up?
What's up, man? What's up, gang?
Hey, Chris.
Hi.
I got family in North Carolina. I thought maybe you were my cousin Chris, and then I realized I don't have a cousin Chris.
I'm everybody's cousin.
Oh, all right. Well, then you are my cousin Chris. What's up?
Yeah, for sure. Today I'm listening to you guys on YouTube. So what's up, YouTube chat?
Right.
I got a couple things out there that I wanted to touch points on because I'm tired of seeing. I didn't come to sugarcoat anything.
Fire away.
I love this energy.
So it's about the wide receiver and the tight end group. The wide receiver and the tight ends group that we got now is better than the ones that we had when Brady was playing, right?
Toward the end, for sure.
That's something that seems like the excuse every week.
I'm sorry.
I also wanted to go into Thornton.
Okay.
Thornton as a wide receiver and his development. At what point in time do we start blaming Bill for his development? Because he was in the same position Harry in. It looked like we're walking down the same exact track that Harry walked down. Thornton is doing the same thing.
What does Nicole Yang have to say about that today in the Boston Globe? Thornton's output short of promise. It is on the front page of the sports section today for the Boston Globe. So you're not alone in those sentiments, Chris.
Yeah, for sure. And Andrews was out last week.
Yep.
But for the past couple weeks, we've been seeing him getting thrown around like a rag doll. You know, I'm not the only one that's seen that. So is his return really going to be a big impact?
Well, I think it is going to be. And wow, is Zoe going to come into the studio?
Oh my gosh!
How about this? Special guest.
Hi.
It's so cold.
Special guest here on the Patriots Pregame Show, Scott Zolak, who is your color analyst for the New England Patriots.
It's a big day right here for you guys, huh?
What's up, Zoe?
Wow.
How are we doing?
I'm just trying to kill some time.
Okay, it's too cold to be outside, isn't it?
It's awful out there.
It is like shockingly cold outside. I didn't know how bad it was going to be until you started walking in from parking lot 7 down there.
It's about 20 degrees colder than what's reported. It's we do our feels like temperature.
What does it feel like out there?
It feels like Buffalo. It does. It feels like the game's up in Buffalo. Like last year, remember we were up there and it was windy and cold, but frigid. Just absolutely frigid because it's not 30, it's not 20. It feels like it's about 15 out there.
As a quarterback,
stop ball.
We're about
Just
to
hold on
have
for a
some
second.
they want to Sports Hub content.
Get out of my seat! You're gonna have to go over there,
here.
Zoe. Zoe, as a quarterback, we were talking about like today. You got a couple of guys whose teams are maybe trying to win, not in spite of them, but without a lot of contributions. Do you think that's going to mean, based on the conditions out there, even less of a passing game today than what we might be expecting?
Absolutely. And I did coach for pregame. I don't think it's going to be a passing game. I think it's whichever team's better up front. They have to be. Just getting a start instead of win. You get Andrews back. They're going to shake some things up, and I think you got to find your 5 best guys and let's go with it.
Did he just drop news on the show?
He did. Well, he just talked to Coach. That Coach dropped that one?
Well, he didn't do it. No, I mean, the team gave us, there's a change in the starting lineup. So that's what we have on our flip card.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
So we'll just in it right tackle.
So we'll see then.
I mean, the
reserve
inactives
judgment.
are out, right? So we already have those. But I think it helps our quarterback and hurts theirs this type of day because it's swirling out there. It's windy. Last thing you want is Zach Wilson to run outside the pocket and put one up in these kind of conditions. The ball's going to hang a little bit. Mac warmed up a lot coming from the north end zone, so I don't know what that means. If I think the wind is a little more in your face coming that way, so I think the ball was dying a little bit to the left side. So that's something to watch, here in as the game goes on.
It's going to affect the kicking game too. Somebody brought it up here earlier. It's like, they're going to have to just
totally.
Ground and pound. But wait a second, just because you've got a 35-yarder doesn't mean you're automatic.
It does with Nick Folk though, and we. We did it with
directly from the mouths of babes, Chet.
We had him in postgame 3 weeks ago, and he went on and on about I have so many discussions with Coach. Just have such an appreciation because he has an appreciation for the kicking game. We talk wind, we talk point of emphasis, wind speed, all that stuff we didn't care to hear in a postgame. It's kicker nerd stuff, but it matters on a day like today.
So Zoe, I agree with you that the running game, both teams are going to lean on the running game, but maybe more first down throws. You don't have to throw it 40 times.
Yeah, they got to do something to back them off. And I don't know what that means. Maybe a little more play action and the tighter play action, not where we got to do the deep stretch. And next thing you know, you got Quinnen Williams breathing down your neck from the backside. Get the ball to the tight ends. There's no reason they can't chip and get out the flat.
Some RPOs.
Just a three
Make Evan happy.
Yeah.
Forget
Make anybody happy.
Forget the punter, target hunter. That was my key to the game.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Wow. My kid's got a new nickname that I learned. He learned at the high school game. I'll tell you off air later.
Okay.
Can't say it here. Rhymes with Peter. But.
Well, I wonder what it could be.
Yeah, but everybody's got to stop banging the table. There's all kinds of crackling going on. What are we doing?
Can't do
Can
that.
I leave now?
It's time to bang.
You
I'm
can.
going to go hang out at KSP. I'll see you guys.
All right, thanks for
Good job
stopping
with
in. There we go. There's your color analyst for the Patriots Radio Network, Scott Zolak.
Hot dog, Paul?
And
not funny.
Special visit. You know what? I was going to just a quick comment. When I stepped out there when the Jets were coming in, I wondered.
Just realized what that was.
Those things.
What from the pregame, and Paul was very, very upset about that.
It's funny how they make the visiting team come in right next to where this tunnel is right here. So I mean, when they were walking in, the Jets, it was like a wind tunnel, like coming in. All the wind was running directly right through outside our studio. So I never realized maybe that's intentional. Right as you walk in the stadium, you just get a blast of cold wind in the face. So let them know what's up.
How has the stadium redesign affected, the conditions so far this year? I don't know a lot, but
Belichick is asked about it every Friday. He doesn't really
doesn't know. Doesn't
That'll
care.
be my next construction update.
Yeah,
when
that's
I'm
what
up
you
in
should
the crane,
ask Tamara. They've been
I will,
shooting her up into the crane. She's been all up in that construction.
Have you gone up in a crane?
I have.
Was it scary?
No.
Oh.
It wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be, honestly.
She wasn't as scared about it as I was for her.
Yeah. I don't.
I was very, very concerned.
Whenever there's a crane on the news, it's not a good story. It's
That's
not.
true.
Hey, look at this awesome crane.
Oh,
scary. It's not good. So.
But the next time, that'll be my next report, like how different it is with the construction updates. There's only one more piece of steel that needs to be placed, so
It's crazy how fast it's going in.
Yeah.
I mean, they're closing that thing in.
Well, what have the other updates been? Just how awesome it's going to be when it's done?
There's more girders.
That feels
how big the new lighthouse is going to be.
That feels like a puff piece. That doesn't even. It doesn't feel like actual reporting.
We work for Patriots.com.
Look at this new wall. It's a new wall, everybody.
Is this is this on Patriots.com?
Yeah, you can go right there to find all of it.
Well, no wonder we're always talking Patriots on this show. I didn't know.
That's what we do.
Okay, I have a serious question before you guys take another call. Have you seen The Incredibles?
Yeah. I have kids. Deuce and I have. Paul's kids are a little bit older.
Yeah.
I saw The
So,
Incredibles,
okay.
NBC Sports Boston just posted this.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh.
I see.
And apparently,
Frozone.
Yeah.
apparently Kendrick Bourne came out with like a similar like suit on.
Yes.
And so they matched them up next to each other. And I'm like, there's two types of people on this team right now. People that are like that, fully covered, only their eyes showing. And then you have David Andrews, who's out there with literally a sleeveless shirt on and shorts.
David Andrews inspiring more confidence in me than the people that are like bundled up like Frozone right now.
These are the things that.
Oh my God! Who?
Thank you, Matt Morrell. Like, I am always fascinated by the amount of people on Twitter that tell you what people are wearing on the field before a game, as if like, okay, so David Andrews is going to have a good game. Mac Jones is out there in short sleeves. He's going to have a good game.
Oh, good.
Kendrick Bourne, forget about him.
He's
trying to stay warm.
It's too
like,
cold.
Wow.
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
We have to have the weather reports, the outfit
the weather
reports.
the weather is relevant.
And then
is
you have to
anybody,
you have to
am
wait
I
for
echoing to anybody else besides
from
myself.
the banging of the
I don't know what
Maybe
it is,
that.
but I definitely feel that Zoe
you have to have the
did
weather
something to
report,
my
the outfit report, and then you have
headsets.
Mike's hoodie report.
Yeah,
You know,
I know. We'll see.
So
Yeah, the weather. I think, and all due respect to Nick Folk, talking about the weather conditions with Belichick, I think that if it's some kind of a different kind of crosswind, which a lot of people are talking about, yeah, I mean, I think anything outside of 40 yards is going to be dicey today.
Yeah.
But I think there is some merit in talking about what guys are wearing as opposed to just straight up uniform talk. And Paul, you and I are in lockstep. Oh, the silver pants. Do that on your own time. I don't. It's impossible
that's
for me to care
completely and
less.
totally irrelevant.
Totally
Yes.
irrelevant.
If you see a guy who kind of looks cold, I told you. There's a famous story I've told these guys before. When Arizona Cardinals, the year they went to the Super Bowl, and they lost to Pittsburgh, it was 2008, I think. They came in here in December in a game that it was snowing. They walked out for pregame warmups. Andy Hart and I looked at each other and said, "They have no shot today." They looked cold. Like they, when you're like, you clench fist and you kind of have the shoulders shrugged.
Yep.
That's how they walked on the field for pregame warmups. I said, this team has no chance whatsoever. 47-7.
Wow.
They lost. Like they had no chance at all. And I'm not telling you the guys that are, like if you're out there warming up and you're dressed for the elements, but you're running around making plays, you can make plays with clothes on. Like, you don't have to have no clothes on to compete in cold weather games.
We don't have to take our clothes off to play a weather game.
We
Sorry.
can dance and party all night and drink some cherry wine.
This is like my cue to leave.
There's nowhere to go from here other than a break. We have to
Royalty
break.
issues, people.
We have to break. Thank you, Bridgestone, proud sponsor of the Patriots Pregame Show, the official tire of the New England Patriots. And Bridgestone tires are now on sale through December 10th at all Sullivan Tire locations. How did we both start thinking that based on that? It's a
classic.
Visit sullivantire.com for a location near you.
Touchview Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, Touchview also offers a built-in PC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
$1 million for picking players? That's a lot of money, DraftKings. You know how many jokes I got to tell to make $1 million? Probably like a half of one.
Take a free shot at $1 million with DraftKings, the leader in.
Get in on the action with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New England Patriots. New customers can download the DraftKings app now and play free for millions in prizes using code PATS. That's code PATS only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots. Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including 6 String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix eSports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Johnny, you funny.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
I'm trying my best. I'm reaching deep down to try and be an a-hole here.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Few calls, few emails, a little song, a little dance, a little seltzer down the pants. Patriots pregame.
Did you just come up with that on the fly?
No, that's an old benchmarked phrase there, Tamara. That's a crutch. I use it a lot. Doesn't even make sense in this circumstance, but why not? Justin in Virginia. Before we get to our over-unders here in a few minutes, what do you got for us, Justin?
What's going on, guys?
How you doing?
Hey, something I kind of want to say is unfair to Mac Jones. Like, when we drafted him, I looked at him a lot like you guys looked at him. Kind of like a Kirk Cousins, maybe at best Matt Ryan type of guy. But I would say that we pluck these quarterbacks that are like the best young ones, like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, and we would say, well, this will work if we had them. But the issue with that is they still need something. Like, you see what I'm saying? They still need some level of offensive system, some level of offensive line play, some level of, like, quality when it comes to receivers. Like, and the way they became them is some level of stability. You know what I'm saying? Like, Travis Kelce's always been there with Patrick Mahomes. Maybe not so much with Josh Allen. When they started, they didn't have, like, the full slate of weapons. But
what do you think of Bill
They
Belichick?
got Brian Dable in there, like, quarterback whisperer or whatnot. What do you think about that?
What do you think of Bill Belichick as a coach?
I think he's amazing, but
You think he's better than Andy Reid?
Yeah.
You think he's better than Sean McDermott?
Yes.
So Mac
But
Jones
what
had more than
I'll-
those guys did.
But what I'll say is, like, if you could have at least kept him with the continuity of, like, Josh, and I understand that Josh left and there's nothing we could have really done about that. But
Well, there was
they
something.
still
You
gave
could have been
them better
prepared for it.
weapons. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think Patrick Mahomes just lost his best player on offense and has been better this year. I think that Mac Jones has a limited skill set in comparison to those guys, so you need more around him. That I would agree with.
Yes.
I agree.
But he has the best coach in the history of football is his coach. He could not have asked for a better situation to enter into.
Yeah, Justin, thanks for the call. Listen, there's an old radio adage about familiarity breeding partiality, and I think that holds true for teammates too. But if the baseline talent isn't there, all the familiarity in the world isn't going to breed any success. You know, just because you know a guy, you might like a guy, but if that guy happens to be N'Keal Harry, then it's not going to do it. It's not going to make any difference.
And I agree with Justin. Like, I'm not ignoring the fact that, you know, Stephon Diggs has really significantly impacted Josh Allen. But you also have to say that Bill Belichick has significantly helped Mac Jones. Like, you can't think that he's the best coach in football. I do anyway. But you can't think that and not feel like that helps a young quarterback. I mean, I still hear people say that Brady wouldn't be Brady if it weren't for Belichick. Right. So I certainly can't say that that Mac Jones hasn't benefited from being the quarterback for Bill Belichick. Yeah.
Sorry, I just saw Zoe walk by behind the shot of Phil Perry on NBC Sports
making the
Boston.
rounds.
So
He's trying to get on everybody's show.
He's everywhere.
Yeah. No one can have a show without Zoe being on it, apparently.
We just heard from Virginia. Travis in West Virginia says, hello, Hardy and the crew. I would love to see the Patriots get some first downs on first or second down instead of always leaving it up to third down. Any chance of this happening, and how so?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good, production on first, second down's been bad. I mean, they're putting themselves in tough situations, but they're, one of the worst offenses in the league on first and second down. And I mean, you saw it right out of the gate last week or 2 weeks ago with the two straight handoffs up the middle, tackled in the backfield. They've got to get more
That's why I
yardage.
asked for some first down passes.
Yeah.
I don't want to throw it all over the yard. Whatever, but
loosen it up a little bit.
Maybe change the script a little.
Mm-hmm.
Scotty in New York on the Patriots Pregame Show. What's up, Scotty?
You guys took the words right out of my mouth with that, with the first down passes. I don't.
Yeah.
But the other thing I was talking about was I wanted to talk about was the offensive line, and I just hope that we can get some sort of consistency up front with hopefully with Andrews coming back, the veteran stability. We can't rely like we did the last time against the Jets with Mac getting sacked a bunch of times and just hope Zach Wilson throws us 2 or 3 picks. We got to have more stability to keep Mac Jones upright. And with the conditions in the game, hopefully it's a great time to find that running identity and find that running game again.
And Andrews should help that.
Yeah.
David Andrews' return should help that.
I just think to Paul's point, getting Mac comfortable early, just give him some time, let him, get a little bit comfortable, just establish a new baseline. If he's under duress, it's not going to go well. I like that, Paul's comment, just change it up a little bit. Take them so they don't know what's coming all the time. It just seems like this offense has been so straightforward, exactly kind of what to expect. And it hasn't worked.
I will say this is his first game back from injury where he's kind of had all of his pieces there to make him feel comfortable. Like, it's been like David Andrews out, Damian Harris out, Jacoby Myers out. And so it's like this is kind of the first game where kind of like the foundational pieces that help him be solid and comfortable are all in.
I don't want to call it an excuse reset. But it's you've had a couple weeks off. I don't want to have too high of expectations, but I do have expectations that if it's not going to get better after this point in time and you've had a chance to regroup, I don't expect them to suddenly find it in the midst of all the crazy games that are about to go on over the next 2.5 weeks.
Let's go to Mike in Puerto Rico before we get to our over-unders here. Mike, what's going on?
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing today? What's
Excellent.
the mood in the room?
I'm sorry, what was that, Mike?
What's the mood in the room?
Chilly. Yeah, this. It even feels cold in here. You can tell on the other side of that door, it's very cold out there. It's a chilly mood.
So, the pressing question: did Alex get her Taylor Swift tickets?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She did. She did. She was floating on cloud 9 the rest of the day.
Oh, okay. Well, as far as the game is concerned, I think this is going to be the turning point for the season. Depending on how well they perform here, it might be something where, okay, just rev it up, get ready for the playoffs. Let's make a real run for it. If they don't, then it's maybe like Paul and Mike has said the entire time is, okay, let's get players out there, let's evaluate them, let's see where they are, because if we can't get hype up for a Jets game under the conditions that we are going into with 2 weeks of preparation, then I really don't see much hope for the rest of the season. But I will pose this to you all. What do you think would be more likely lead to a win? Being +2 in the turnover ratio, or Mac throwing for 2 touchdowns?
Nope, you said it. The first one, +2 in the
No
turnover ratio.
question.
That's it.
That's the script.
That's the one.
And if they could have a couple of touchdown passes. I mean, you get in the red zone and you know, again, first and goal from the 4. You're not obligated to pound it between the tackles. You know, hard play action, Hunter Henry wide open.
Yeah.
You know, like the other teams do.
Yeah.
You know, easy touchdown passes on first and goal.
By the way, the fact that the Patriots woke up on Monday after their bye weekend last weekend and found themselves in the playoff picture. Last year, I was taken to task by, Spee and a couple other people because I said, it doesn't matter if they make it. Look at the Chiefs. Look at how I feel the exact opposite this year. I'm not picking the Patriots to win the Super Bowl, but if you remain relevant and you remain a playoff team, every other team in the league, maybe I'm not saying that the Chiefs stink and they could lose to anybody, but a lot of good teams are losing games that they shouldn't lose. And I think there is, if it's not parity, it's at least there's a fallibility that exists with a lot of teams this season that I haven't seen in seasons past.
Yeah, I don't think the AFC is as deep as we all thought it would be.
That's a much more succinct and probably fair way of saying it.
Yeah, which is why I think the Patriots have a shot to make the playoffs.
And not only make it, but yes, actually go in there and win a game. I don't see a repeat of last year. Where
I can't see that. I mean, now a lot can change in 8 weeks. Like right now, I can't see them beating a good team.
What about Tennessee?
Don't see it.
I could think.
I don't think Tennessee's any good, but I don't see. Them, I don't see them beating.
You don't see them beating a bad team.
No. Well, they're 7-3. I mean, they're doing something.
Yeah.
I just think with the strength of the schedule, the division games you have left, you're going to end up where you're supposed to end up. Like they're not going to really back into it. If they're going to get in, they're going to have to get in. I just think the offense has to find something that they haven't shown yet to really be one of those teams. Now, I agree with the bigger point, though. Aside from maybe Buffalo and Kansas City, I'd give them a puncher's chance against anybody in the AFC. But they got to find a new stride on offense. They're not going to win those games and get to the playoffs.
I think they would need a bad game from like a Baltimore, or probably even a Cincinnati.
Yeah, probably.
You know, but bad games happen.
Yeah, but you'll see
bad
those.
games
You'll
happen.
see those teams. You'll see those teams.
They already did. They got eviscerated by one of them.
Buffalo.
Baltimore. I mean, they gave up 37 points.
Yeah. Before we get to the real over-unders, a couple of things. Number one, want to thank FedEx. FedEx, we are ready for the holidays. That's good to know. Are you ready for the holidays?
Not even close.
FedEx, ready for the holidays. Number two, a couple of fun over-unders via email. This is Nat from Santa Cruz. 1.5 times we say, oh, thank goodness we have Ramondre Stevenson. Over-under on that.
Today?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not. 2.
Not even. Well, you want it, so you're going over.
So you go over.
2.
Okay.
Sure.
Over. All right. I'm with Mike.
Petulant Mac Jones moments, flopping or other weird stuff at 1/2.
Don't do that to me. I'm playing the under. I hate that stuff.
One petulant moment, I have to take the over on.
Yeah, it's at
one
at
time.
I want to believe
it's at a hay.
You put it at 2.5, and now there's a question. Hey.
Petulant Mac Jones.
And also at 1/2, Zach Wilson. Geez, dude, don't throw it interceptions.
Oh, well, what's the number?
A half.
A half. I gotta go over on that one.
Yeah.
It's easy.
All right, but those don't count. Now we're doing the real ones. Let's go.
The Jets should take the Patriots game plan from the Buffalo Monday night game last year with Zach Wilson. Three passes. Sorry, didn't mean to step on you.
This week's edition of Over-Unders.
You're over me? When were you under me?
Well, I was not here last week, but I submitted my over-unders anyway. How did I end up doing, Marine Matt?
Not bad. 5-1 last week.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
That's amazing.
Daddy, long legs.
Wasn't even here.
How about
Followed
it?
by Mike and Paul at 4-2, Tamara at 3-3, and Arkan at 2-4. Season totals: Paul 30 and 24, Hardy 28, 26, Mike 27 and 27. The others don't matter. That's a close race.
I like well, they don't matter because they're not full. They haven't been here for everyone. Arcand and Tamara ended up picking twice so far. All right, whatever. I don't know. Once, I don't know.
Mac Jones passing yards 203.5.
Lead us off, Mike Dussault.
Yeah, I think he'll be in that area. I'm gonna go under though.
Under 203.
I'm going to take the under as well. I'm a little like Zoe kind of spooked me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Like he talked
he's a
about
quarterback
too. Well, and he talked about
played
the
in the
weather.
league.
And we
He knows.
Look at the new punter, Michael Pilardi.
I like the Pilardi.
I am not going to bet. Look, everything else, every other prediction about this game today, and I'll probably be wrong on all of it, but at least I'm going to be consistent. It's going to be a low-scoring, difficult day to move the ball type of game. I'm going under.
Ramondre Stevenson rushing yards 48.5.
I'm going to take the over on that one. I think they're going to need to establish the running game. I think Stevenson will get opportunities to do that along with Damian Harris, but I'll take the over.
Yeah, I'm going over on that one too. I think it's very, very easy to see him busting off a couple of 15, 18 yarders, getting yourself more than halfway there on just a couple of runs, and I like the over.
I'm actually go under because of this guy we're looking at right now, Damian Harris. I think it might be his time to shine
fresh
today.
Legs?
Some fresh legs. No, I think Ramondre still could be productive, but I'm going to go under.
I would love it for the Patriots' sake if that were true, but why not both? How about both?
I'm trying to play. I'm trying to game the system here a little bit.
Okay,
I'm trying
all right.
to get myself back.
Oh, I understand.
I'm the only one that just picks what I think is going to happen.
I was the ultimate of that last week. I had no idea what you guys were picking. Look, I have 5-1, so there's merit in that.
I'm just playing the game, guys. I'm just playing the game.
Total touchdowns for the Patriots 2.5.
Oh, under.
Wow.
Under.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go under 2. I think it's probably about 2 and a couple field goals.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under as well.
That was a DraftKings special right there. Nick Folk made kicks, field goal or point after, 3.5.
Oh, that's a high number. I like 3. I don't know if I like 4. I'm going to go under.
I will take the over. I think 2 field goals, 2 PATs. I'll take it.
Yeah, I could see him missing a field goal today, but I think it's reasonable to assume that your majority of the scoring is going to be coming in from that guy right there. And, God, you know what? Now, I'm picking a real low-scoring game here. I'm going to go under. I'm changing it up.
A lot of thought there. Zach Wilson interceptions, 1.5.
Is this me?
That's you.
I'm going to take the under because I think Mike LaFleur is going to just say we're going to run the ball today.
I just have to go on what I've seen from this kid, and what I've seen from this kid shows me that he's going to throw picks. I'm going over.
Yeah, I think I'm with Paul. I do think he might be good for 1, but I'm not going to hope for 2 today. I'm going to go under.
And finally, the total score at 38.5.
Stop it with your 38.5 under.
I didn't make it up. These are real lines here.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm with Hardy. I have the under here.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
So, Deuce,
I'm a lot of
under
unders.
all 6.
I'm under on all 6.
You're looking for a wretchedly bad football game. I don't think you're wrong, though.
Unfortunately. Well, but you never know.
Well, wouldn't it be worse if his Zach Wilson interceptions was over? Then it would be an even worse football game.
Well, not for the Patriots.
All right, and that's the only way I think about it. That's all I care
Classic.
about. It looks beautiful out there, though. I got to say, in the footage here, I mean,
it's sunny.
It looks like a sunny, nice day.
It does.
It doesn't look cold to me, Paul. Sitting here in the warm studio.
It's not that warm in the studio. I got to be honest. A lot of kicker talk from the various knights of the keyboard up in the press box. Nick Folk, I guess, struggled to the construction end of the stadium a little bit. Missed a 43-yarder. I think it's funny because I had one recap said that he was short from 43 yards and 48 yards. Another one said he hit the upright from 53 yards and missed wide right from 40. So I don't really know exactly what happened, but what I can sort of infer is that the wind is a factor in the kicking game.
The wind is real. All right. We're going to step aside one more time, right? Let's talk to Nick Babylove before we do it, and then we'll take one more break, come back, and do our Sunday six-pack, wrap up the show today. Nick, what do you got for us today?
No, I just want to say happy holidays to all you guys. The show is very, very enjoyable, you know what I mean? And as far as the Patriots, I bleed Patriots blood, even though I'm still with Brady. I just think it's Belichick's best coaching job. I mean, isn't that Paul and my man D-Train from Holy Cross and you, Hardy, and Matt? Isn't a W a W?
Sure.
Yeah.
At this, yes.
So scrape, claw, finagle until this team gets tweaked the next year or two, and I don't know what the records are, but I believe today, if the Patriots win, they hold a tiebreaker against the Jets, and they're in third place. Am I right?
Yes, correct.
That would be correct.
Anyway, look, God bless you guys, and have a really wonderful New Year.
Thanks, Nick.
I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, we'll talk to you before that. Have a happy Thanksgiving if we don't talk to you
Absolutely.
on the actual Turkey Day. But we talked about this earlier. You don't get to choose the quality of your wins or the way you get to win right now. No, you're a game above 500. A win today is huge for the division, and it does not it. We're not in a position right now to whine about the quality of the win. And I will hold myself to that. Should the Patriots pull out the win today, that I won't come in here and say, yeah, but nope. Not on this one.
No, and this is, a 6-3 Jets team that just beat Buffalo, and it's been gunning for you.
I don't like to paint myself into corners. I like to see the way games unfold before I tell you what I think of it.
Yeah, that's probably true, given what we've seen.
That was very smart. As soon as I said it, I'm like, "What are you doing? Shut up! Don't say that."
That's like every time I say something.
I mean, they definitely need to win, and style points are not huge. I would agree, but if you're gonna beat the teams that we've made a big deal of this. Like, this is the last game as of right now left on the schedule that they're favored in. They're supposed to win today. Like, I know the Jets have been surprisingly efficient at 6-3, but they're supposed to. The Patriots are supposed to win this game today, and the whole 5-4. Yeah, you kind of should be 6-3, like with the schedule that you've had.
Yeah,
like you didn't really upset anybody. And you lost one that no one thought you would lose. So you kind of need this game, and you're supposed to win it. I think it's kind of shaping up as somehow if they can find a way to get this one, I'm not here for that. You should beat the Jets at home.
Yeah. That's what I said. I see a play-in game. I mean, it's just you have to win this game to make these rest of these ones even meaningful. So
right.
Yeah, it's and then it's just the whole context of you've beaten the Jets how many straight times? You haven't lost to them since the 2010 playoffs here. All that kind of subtext that goes into these things. But this is the last bastion of the Patriots dynasty that's still, you haven't beaten Miami yet lately. You haven't beat Buffalo lately. You still own the Jets. Do they still own the Jets at home? I think it would be, just a kind of a calming impact, no matter how a win potentially looks.
How about this? Win today so that I do not resent you as a team for making me get off my couch on Thursday and come in here to do that Thursday night game against Minnesota when the season appears to be pretty much lost. Don't make me Don't make me resentful.
It's gonna. I mean, if they had a bad game late, but flip side, they play well today. They show a gear that you haven't quite seen them fit. You're like, we're going to turn around. We're going to play a game in 4 days against the Vikings on national television. We know Justin Jefferson's got a little touch of the old turf toe. Game on.
Can you imagine that?
He ain't playing that.
Daddy, aren't you going to have pumpkin pie? I can't, kids. I got to get down to Gillette Stadium. We got a big game tonight. The Patriots are coming off a win.
That's not what he said off air about that night, is it?
No.
Right?
Now we're bringing off-air stuff on the air?
I didn't say it.
No, let's do that.
Liar! He just want to get out.
Let's
let someone else clean up.
I did say that. That I did say. There's something else we were going to do. Oh, we're looking at warm-ups a couple of minutes ago.
Oh. That's a lot of money, DraftKings. You know how many jokes I got to tell to make $1 million? Probably like a half of one.
Take a free shot at $1 million with DraftKings, the leader in daily fantasy sports.
Get in on the action with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New England Patriots. New customers can download the DraftKings app now and play free for millions in prizes using code PATS. That's code PATS, only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots. Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including Six String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Johnny, you funny.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
What's he telling us to do?
Yeah, with his terrible pick record, like what would we listen to him for?
Yeah, no, that's right. Listen.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
All right, we're back on the Patriots pregame, and we'll be doing our Sunday six-pack here in a moment. But before, and also want to thank Dom's, the official steak tip of the New England Patriots. Dominate the grill this season with the Tailgate Box subscription. Visit domsausage.com to choose your plan. Get a curated box filled with the quality meats delivered to your doorstep, ready to grill for the game. You'll be the MVP of the tailgate season. Before we do anything else, Paul, you got something for us?
I do. I have today's key data point presented by Demand Science. I know you guys are all waiting for it. Did you know? Did you guys?
Yes.
Are you aware that Matthew Judon is currently leading the NFL in sacks with 11.5? Are you guys aware of this?
I am. It's my job to be aware of that. Yes.
Okay, it's my job too, but usually I don't really know much of that. Although I did know this one. Yeah, he has 11.5 sacks. That's 2 more than Nick Bosa and Zadarius Smith. So, but here's the key part. Here's the key data point. If Judon remains at the top of that list, he would become the first Patriot since to lead the team in sacks.
Chandler Jones?
No, it's a trick question. He'd be the first ever Patriot to lead the league in sacks.
Wow.
That was the key data point there was if Judon winds up as the single-season sack leader in the NFL this year, he'd become the first Patriot ever to do so.
So when Andre Tippett set the record,
the Patriots record with 18.5.
18.5.
Yeah, I believe Gastineau had like 22.
I don't like being tricked.
No,
I mean, and
sorry,
I don't care for your games.
Yeah, I don't care for that.
Reindeer.
So Judon is fantastic. He's having a great year. Pro Football Focus did their rankings a couple of weeks ago. It was, before the Pats went on the bye week, I think. And they listed him as like the, I don't know, like the 50th best player in the NFL right now or something. Like, it was like so far down the list. I'm like, what are we doing?
50.
It was like,
Yeah,
he was
well,
like
he can't
so far.
he can't compete with Jack Jones, who's like the third best player in the league, or Michael Onwenu.
Yeah, apparently. You saw this list.
No, I didn't.
Oh, well,
No.
I mean,
I
it's,
don't really see a lot of those lists.
it was along those lines. Yes, it was guys like Onwenu who was like ranked higher than him in terms of like, yeah, just a good all-around player. I'm like, what? Judon?
Right.
No.
And Judon's had, and I do think that there are times where the actual total, the sack total can be an overrated thing, but he has been an impactful player on that defense virtually every single game, if not every one. I just wanted to go ahead. You want to do that?
Offensive
Yeah.
line? Yeah,
Go
well,
ahead.
there are just some things going on in the offensive line here during warmups that have been catching people's eyes. It looks like the initial starting line was left to right: Wynn, Strange, Andrews, Onwenu, Kajust, which puts Trent Brown on the outside looking in. But Andrew Callahan saying, and he does put a qualifier with this in with a star, body language doctor in the house. But Brown did not join the O-line huddle or the O-line D-line huddle pregame. He stood off to the side. Something looks off. Same thing with Mark Daniels saying Brown rotated in at left tackle. This is a strange situation. So I don't know. We just something to keep your eye on as the game opens up with the offensive line.
Oh, good. I was hoping for a little confusion and a little mayhem on the offensive line today.
Little rotation going on.
Things have been too easy for those guys. So let's keep them honest. Let's mix it up a little bit.
I mean, I don't think anybody. I mean, there was a lot of conjecture about what they could possibly do in terms of rotating guys around, maybe flipping the tackles back. I don't think anybody would have thought that Trent Brown would have come out of the lineup.
Right,
in
and
any capacity.
Evan had talked about that sort of weirdness of the Wednesday practice when it looked like Wynn was rotating on the left side, but I'm still a little skeptical of that. I'll see when they get out there if they stick with it. I have no doubt that that's what they did in warm-ups. I'm just saying I wouldn't completely rule Trent Brown out as of yet.
Matt going short sleeves too. I just I don't know. That feels a little bit purposeful to me.
Paul, I know you're loath to engage in anything negative, but what would be the
a fair point?
What would be the worst way for the Patriots to start this game today? I have an idea talking about the offensive line and the switching around. To me, it would be like dumb pre-snap penalties or false start stuff like that.
The greatest hits.
Like,
can I just tell you what would bother me even more? Like like a turnover or a penalty or something would be obviously disastrous. But to me, it would just be lining up 3 plays and then punting after the third one.
Yeah.
Like we get a yard on first down, incomplete on second down, maybe a completion for 5 yards on third down, punt. Like nothing, no like misplay, no
plan,
no sack, no fumble, no penalty, just couldn't get a first down.
And maybe it's too much to ask, as Deuce said earlier in the week. I heard you say, wouldn't it, to march down the field in one of those beautiful scripted 12-play drives. Yeah. We've talked about them, for years now on this show and how they look so good, and then lament how they don't look good afterward. I won't lament.
Just give me the first one.
Give me the first drive. Give me that scripted 12-play march down the field, score, and take the lead out of the gate. I would love that.
You want to get crazy? What about an 8-play drive? Like it doesn't even take them 12. Like they have some chunk plays.
Stop it.
Imagine that.
Stop it with your nonsense.
But this is where we're talking about style points. I would rather kind of see an 8, 10, 12-play drive than like they just hit a big chunk play and score.
Right.
Like
a
50-50 ball that somehow
now they come out on play action and throw a ball down the field to Tyquan Thornton. This place will go crazy, and that'd be great.
Yeah.
But if you're asking me, we're going to score in the first drive, how do you want to do it? I'd rather have it be a methodical, 6 yards first down, 8 yards second down, 11 yards on the next play, and all of a sudden, you're chunking your way down the field, 8, 10 plays, touchdown, as opposed to, well, we hit one big play and we scored.
Do you think we're going to talk at all in the post-game show about that they kind of put the reins back on Mac in the wind like they did in Buffalo last year? Maybe not to that extent, but I keep seeing all these things about how windy it is out there.
I don't think it's anything like that based on my walk across the parking lot, which was not even uncomfortable.
Yeah.
To be honest. Were you like – you remember the Buffalo game?
Well, Hardy's soft, though.
I am soft, and I did not wear a heavy enough jacket. I went for fashion over.
Well, you are a fashion plate. You're like
I'm
classy
not-
Freddie Blassie.
The arrival.
Okay.
Got arrival photos. And
We got to do the 6-pack, don't we?
We do. We only have
yeah,
5 minutes.
Yeah, we're
6 games, 5 minutes. Fred would be in a
Gotta
panic.
hurry.
We're up against it here. Let's do it. Here we go.
This is the Sunday six-pack, so kick back and listen to my position. I'm itching to get the picks back.
siren.
You better bring a big stack. Get it mixed, Jack. I came to win it, yeah, this is the Sunday six-pack.
Let's do it. Let's find out what happened last week first.
Last week we have Mike and Hardy 3-3.
Nice.
Paul and Arcan 2-4.
Nice.
Season totals: Paul 30-18.
Oh.
Mike 24-24. Hardy 20-28. Arcan 11-7.
God, Paul, you've been on a tear.
I'm 500 in both the
2-4 last
over-unders and the 6-pack.
Yeah, but you're 30-18. You had a
Unfortunately,
crap,
I threw the paper away. I want to check that.
You had a crap week, and you're 30-18. All right, let's get to these 1 o'clock games. What
now,
do we got?
three of these numbers have actually moved. So they're different from what you have on your sheet. Beginning with the 3-7 Carolina Panthers at the 6-3 Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore is now minus 13.
13. I still like that point total. I will take the Ravens, and I will lay the points.
Paulie Paul.
I'm going to take the points. 2 touchdowns, it's a lot. I have no doubt that Baltimore will be covering that spread at some point, but I'm going to go with the backdoor cover for the Panthers.
Yeah, no way I'm laying 13 points. Nope, not doing it. I will take the Panthers plus 13.
The 3-6 Cleveland Browns at the 6-3 Buffalo Bills at Detroit. Buffalo minus 8.5.
This is a strange game, obviously, being played in Detroit. I know the Bills had all kinds of trouble. Sometimes I worry that when the focus is on things other than the actual game, how it's going to play, but I think they're going to get their focus, get back on track, and I will take the Bills.
I see it as more of an equalizer, Paul. I'm doing the very, obvious analysis here. And I think the Bills win, but I think the Browns cover. I'll take the Browns.
I'll take the Bills. I'll lay the points.
The 3-6 Detroit Lions at the 7-2 New York Giants. New York now minus 4.
Please restore the roar. It's coming back. Lions going to move to 4-6 on the season after this one. They win it outright.
No way. Brian Daboll, I got them for the win. I'll take the Giants.
Yeah, I'll take the Giants, too. I am still not a believer in the New York Football Giants, but I'm
more than Dan Campbell.
I'm a believer when it's Dan Campbell.
Well, you're both stupid and wrong.
Moving on to the 4 p.m. games, the 2-7 Las Vegas Raiders at the 3-6 Denver Broncos. Denver minus 2.5.
Deuce.
Yeah, lots of injury issues for
horrible
the Raiders. Game. I know this is, but I gotta believe. I'm gonna take the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm taking the Broncos. I'm sick of losing every week by picking the Raiders.
I know, but they gotta win an actual game at some point. This isn't even an actual game. I'm taking the Raiders. Against all odds, I'm taking the Raiders.
The 7-2 Dallas Cowboys at the 8-1 Minnesota Vikings. Dallas minus 2.5.
Interesting.
Paulie Paul. This is an interesting one.
Yeah, it's an interesting spread, and everybody's been in an uproar about it all week. I'm going to take the Cowboys. I think they're better.
Something weird about this game, If you don't like it, get rid of it. I can't get rid of it. I got to pick it. I'm gonna pick the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Paul on and the Cowboys.
And last, the 6-3 New York Jets at the 5-4 New England Patriots. New England minus 3.5.
I view this as such a low-scoring game. I think the Patriots win, but I think it's a squeaker. I think the Patriots win this one 8-6.
So you're taking the Jets?
I'm taking the Jets.
I'm gonna take the Jets points too. I do think the Patriots win, but I think it's a 1-2 point, maybe 3 point game. So I'm gonna take take the Jets points. I'm gonna take the Patriots to win though. Weird score, 19-17.
I love when I'm the only one on the Patriots. I just think that the Jets are building something, but it's not quite ready yet. And I don't think they're ready to come into Foxborough and win a game that would legitimately stamp them as contenders for the playoffs at 7-3. I'm going to take the Patriots to win in an ugly game, 19-13.
All right, there it is. 6-pack in the books. Thank you, everybody, for participating in the show today through your calls and emails. And we hope that you will join us here afterward when we do the Patriots post-game show. Right after the game, right here, Patriots.com. Thank you for listening and watching.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.
It's definitely a good sport, no doubt about it. And he had a six-pack, too. I know, man. That's what people were really talking about.